Welcome to Hell Let Loose. Once you finally get yourself into a server, the first thing you're going to be presented with is the team. Pick whatever team you want to join, and you're going to have to pick a squad. The only way to play is by being in a squad. The game will force you to do that. I suggest going Rifleman first, make that your first role. And once you do that, you're going to be presented with this wonderful map. Now this map can be pretty overwhelming when you first see it. There's plenty of moving parts, icons, flashy things, pulsing stuff. But we're going to break it down to you so you can master your battlefield awareness. What is your battlefield awareness? It's basically all the information you need to know about the battlefield, like where your friendlies are, where the enemy is, what everyone's doing, and what the overall condition of the battle is. This map is incredibly useful not just to commanders and squad leaders, but to every player. First off, to navigate the map, you can use your scroll wheel up and down to zoom in and out. And you can left click and hold it and just drag the map around to move around the map when you're zoomed in. Now if you're just ready to get into the battle and start shooting some bad guys, you're going to be looking for one of these three icons first. The top one being an airhead, then a garrison, then an outpost. Garrisons and airheads take resources to make, while an outpost is free, but only the squad leader can make one every 2 minutes almost anywhere. Only you and your squad can spawn on your outpost, which will be green. Any other squad's outpost will be white. Outposts also only take a max of 20 seconds to spawn, while the other two can be up to 40 seconds. So simply click one and press deploy on the bottom right. Getting back to the map, we're going to look at our friendly units first, of which are these blue and green dots. The blue dots being other squads, while the green dots are your squad mates. Some of these icons might have a little letter above the name, which simply indicates what squad leader that is. You'll notice if you hover over any of these units, other units will be highlighted, which shows you what squad they are in. An easy way to find out if the guy next to you is in Baker Squad or Dog Squad. If you need to, you can even click on one of the guys and it will keep that squad highlighted for you. The little circle here with the 3 dots in it is your commander, the guy in charge of all the shit. You'll see him running around on the battlefield quite a bit, so try not to shoot him. Moving on to vehicles, any crewed vehicle will be blue, like this tank here. Any vehicles that are not crewed will show up as a black icon on the map. There's a lot of different vehicles in the game, like transports, supply trucks, other tanks, recon vehicles, all of which have different icons, which we'll show you here in a second. Don't mind my crew drawings. Now the dots in the middle of the tank icons simply indicate what kind of tank it is. 1 dot would be a light tank, 2 dots is a medium, 3 dots is a heavy tank. Heavy tanks are obviously a lot harder to kill, so if you see a friendly 1 dot tank heading towards a heavy, it'd probably be a good idea to let them know. There's also a lot of different types of roads in the game, which can help you travel from one place to another a lot easier if you know what they are. These thicker red ones are usually main roads, paved. They'll have names. A lot of the roads will have names, while the pink lines here that can sometimes be yellow are kind of dirt roads, off-road type of areas. You can still easily traverse. They're just not going to be as straight. And then you'll have your little blue paths that you can see splintering off of all the main roads. These blue paths are mostly just for foot traffic only. You're also going to have a lot of other static icons on the map, like these hash marks, which are trenches. You got a big barn down here, a couple bunkers, and then if you look at these little hut-looking things in the field, those are actually haystacks, which can provide pretty good cover and concealment if you're moving towards an enemy position. It's always good to know where those are so you can plan an attack better. These little red connected X's are actually barbed wire, which it's worth noting. These icons aren't always 100% accurate, so if you see that, just know barbed wire's in that area and you at least got a line of it, but where you can actually get in and out, that's always fun to find out. You'll see a lot of these little white guys on the map. These are usually ammo drops that your friendly guys have dropped, with the bomb being explosive ammo and the bullets being regular munitions for your rifle, machine gun, whatever you need. It's always good to know where those are if you need to resupply on, let's say, rockets or grenades, or even if you're running low on machine gun ammo. You'll hopefully see a lot of these square icons with the tools in the middle, these being supplies. Supplies are very important to the game because that's how you build garrisons and other fortifications. You'll see these almost diamond icons with the yellow circle around them. That indicates they are resource nodes. The yellow circle is kind of important, but we'll go over that one later. There's also these white circles with the parachute in them, usually indicating commanders dropping something like this one is ammo, down here is supplies, and the white circle that's slowly filling up around it is how long it's taking to actually hit the ground and be usable. There's other random things like the repair station here and the ammo depot, which you won't see the ammo depot, but you'll see the repair stations. You can build those anywhere on the battlefield to help your tanks repair without needing mechanics. These little black icons indicate mines, the larger one being an anti-tank mine and the smaller ones being anti-personnel mines. Now, friendly fire is off by default for these, so I'm not 100% sure what the purpose of seeing them is. You can also ping anywhere on the map like this building here to bring attention to what you're looking at, and as you'll see it appears on the map as well, so everyone else from your squad at least can see it and know what you're looking at. You can even go one step further and say the map grid that your ping was in. For example, we have dog on the top here and it goes down to the row of 8, so you would just say dog 8 or D8 is where my ping was, where there was enemy infantry, tanks, whatever it was. Now we'll get into the squad leader place markers, which you're going to be seeing a lot of these on the map, and they're going to move around all the time. There's quite a few of them, as you can see by the list. The big four being the move marker, attack marker, defend marker, and observe marker. The move marker is pretty simple. It's an arrow pointing to the ground, and it simply means move to this location. You'll also get a little bit more information if you hover over it. It'll show you it's the move marker. Under that it'll say placed by whoever placed it. And then under that, in the gray, it'll say commanders, officer, and unit, which means only the commanders, officers, and your unit can see that. Members of other units will not be able to see that, but other squad leaders can. Then you have your attack marker, which is the crosshair. Pretty much means there's going to be combat. You're going to be engaging here. Defend is a little shield icon. It means just hold this area down and defend it. And then observe is this little eye icon. Observe is good for, let's say, the squad leader knows there's a tank somewhere. He'll put an observe marker on it, and that means just keep an eye over there. Don't get killed by that tank. Now you may also come across one of these icons. It's a request supplies icon that if we look at it, it shows only our unit can see it. No one else except for your squad can see that. There's also the call-in supplies, which is a little parachute icon, and if we look, only commanders and officers can see it. So there is a difference between the two. One is for the team in general, the other is just for your squad. Then we have the enemy markers, which is enemy infantry, enemy light vehicle, enemy tank, enemy outpost, and enemy garrison. Enemy infantry is identified by the helmet. Obviously it means there's enemy infantry nearby. Enemy light vehicle is a small steering wheel. It could be anything from a transport truck to a half-track or even a Panzer II light tank if you want to mark that. Enemy tank is, well, an enemy tank. Pretty obvious. They do move around a lot, so you're going to see these icons moving all the time on the map. It could be anything from a light tank to a heavy tank, being a Panzer II all the way up to a Tiger or a Panther. Then you've got your enemy outpost and enemy garrison. Same thing as the usual garrison and outpost markers, just red. Just know guys will be spawning from these locations. Some other markers that you might see, not as regular infantry but as officers, but the commander can put these down in yellow, would be call-in bomber, call-in strafing run, call-in artillery, and call-in smoke. Now if you look at call-in artillery and you're playing as artillery, you can see it's only seen by the commanders and the officers, but in that case your squad leader could just put down something like an attack marker right on top of it, and that'll at least give you an idea where to shoot. We'll get a little practical here and just throw down some random markers so we can see what it looks like on your actual screen when you're running around the battlefield. We'll throw down a move, attack, defend, and observe, and we'll take a look at those. So looking at your map, it's easy to tell where they are. We're pretty much going to move to this little trench, defend this bigger trench, attack these smaller trenches, and we'll keep our eyes on these two buildings over here to the right. Now you'll see as we move up and these marks show up, you don't really know where the hell they are. They could get in the way of you trying to shoot at infantry and whatnot. So there's actually a hotkey to hide the HUD, which my default is T, and if you press T, you'll see the HUD disappears and reappears. It also gives you extra information like your ammo, who's in your squad, how many magazines you have left, things like that. But again, press T, it'll make it disappear or reappear if you press it again. Definitely helps if there's enemy infantry nearby, you're trying to shoot them and the mark's in the way. You'll also see here that the distance in meters does actually move in real time with you as you get closer to that objective. Now by default, and I don't know if there's actually a way to change it, but if you press T to bring the HUD up, in about 15 seconds it will slowly disappear again. So if you like having your HUD up, you're going to have to keep pressing T, otherwise it's just going to disappear and it will give you a better view of the battlefield at least. Now we'll switch maps over to Kursk to show examples of sector capturing and how that all works. You'll see the map split up into different grid squares from A to J and 1 to 10 in the columns. There's about 100 grid squares, 40 of which we don't need to worry about, and only 60 in the playable area. You can see the friendly points in the blue highlighted area. The neutral zone has no highlight, and the enemy sector is red highlight. The friendly strong points are also marked in blue, while the enemies are marked in red. You'll see they have a little lock icon on it, which means they cannot be captured. The only one that can be captured right now is the middle point, because you'll see it has that strong point circle with the hash marks through it. That's pretty much where everyone's always going to try to go. Now you can take those 60 playable grid squares and break it down even further into 15 larger squares. These larger squares highlighted by the green lines are technically where capture points will randomly spawn when the map starts. So each one of these big squares will have one capture point in it to take that entire sector. Which means you can actually start capturing from any of the 4 smaller grid squares within the larger square. To make it even easier to get, here's a picture where anywhere in the highlighted yellow area within the green lines is where you can actually start to capture that point from. Anywhere in that yellow. So here we'll take a truck and we'll drive it right up to the edge of that larger square. Now you can see I'm not capturing here, but if I move forward just a few meters, I will be in the capture zone and it will say that I am capturing the objective. So there we go, capturing, and now I'll back out just a little bit past that line and show that we are no longer capturing. And now just to demonstrate that you can capture from anywhere in the larger square, I'll go all the way up to the northwestern corner of that square. And there you can see the windmills, still not capturing. And again, I'll move forward just a few meters just to pass that line and we will start capturing. Now we'll go all the way down to the southwest side of the big square, again seen here, and we can start capturing from all the way down there. So here we go, I'll pull forward just a little bit again, get right in that big square, and we'll see that we're capturing the objective from all the way down here. Now it is important to know this because you don't have to continuously attack the strong point and just keep throwing your bodies at it and losing guys, when you could actually encircle the cap point, get around it, even go way the fuck away from combat, 500 meters out, and you could still technically capture it. That strong point basically doubles the amount of guys that are inside of it, so if the enemy has 2 guys inside of it, it's going to count it as 4, which means you only need 5 guys in any of those 4 grid squares to actually capture that point. I'm not saying you don't need to be in the strong point. Getting everyone in the strong point is important, but you can attack it from anywhere outside and still have a chance to capture it without even going into the strong point. Now for the next video, we'll look at each role individually and see how they play out on the battlefield, who does what, and what you can do as that role.